and welcome to another episode of Standing 8. I'm Paul Fitzgerald. I'm joined by my co-host, three-time world champion boxing Hall of Famer Jeff Fennick.
Great to be here.
And today we've got two of Australia's most successful comedians, actors and writers, Rob, Shehadie and Tahir. Welcome.
Yeah, that was good. Nice.
You like that one? Yeah.
Nice intro.
Yeah.
Really, we've done all that?
I think so.
Tell you what, guys, just before we start, we need you guys over in America right at the moment with all this crap happening, so you can just let everybody know that everybody's equal. And that's what I love about you guys, you know. You can get up on stage, you can talk about yourselves or talk about other people, and everybody just loves it. I mean, I think that's what the world's missing, guys like these two guys to my right. And I want to congratulate you on an amazing career. And yeah, you're two definitely funny guys, but you're also two great guys, and it's great to have you guys with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
That's nice. Like, obviously, some of the shows we've been involved with over the years, they've been politically incorrect. There's no doubt about it. But I think those shows are accepted because it comes from a good place. Like, it's all just tongue-in-cheek stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the shows we've done. But
well, I think one of the biggest problems of the world today, we take things out of context. If somebody just says something today that we might have said 20 or 30 years ago, it's totally incorrect now. And some people don't really mean it. And I think we're far too hard on ourselves today. I think the world has changed, and it definitely hasn't changed for the better as far as I'm concerned.
they can't cancel everything. Everything's cancelled.
That's right, yeah.
What did the Allens cancel, those lollies? What was those lollies they cancelled?
Redskins.
Redskins, and what was the other one? It was Redskins and Chicos.
Chicos.
And Redskins. Okay, how's Redskins like? I don't know.
Redskins are pretty famous.
You know what they're going to
They're
change?
famous, exactly.
You know what they're changing Redskins to?
The what?
Foreskins.
I thought you were going to say five skins.
No, but you're right. You know,
Do you remember the Gollywog biscuits? Bring those back. They're
just call
collectors.
them off.
I think they
Not
are.
allowed anymore. The gollies are right, but the wogs are incorrect now, mate.
Just call them gollies.
Gollies, yeah.
No, but I agree with you. Comedy, people don't got to look deeper than the surface and being offended by it. Because when we were growing up, and you remember Acropolis Now, the Greeks weren't really accepted in society, but what that show did, it opened made Australians and every other nationality look into a Greek lifestyle, culture, and it made people laugh. And it's like Here Come the Habibs, because I've been saying this lately. In the last couple of years, I feel that the Lebanese name has really improved a lot. Like the images, we went through a bad patch, like every nationality does in Australia. It's part of the system.
Yeah.
How bad was your patch though?
Couple of decades. Everyone goes through it. Greeks, Italians. Then we went through a religious stage. Asians copped it. Now the Africans are about to cop it. It's part of the system. It's just the way it is here. But
You got to earn your stripes.
yeah, you got to earn your stripes. But I found that the Habibs, and you know, Tahir, went everywhere we went. I had Asians and Indians, and people felt they could relate to the Habib family, and it let them laugh at a Lebanese family. And it wasn't offensive. There was nothing wrong with it. We copped a big backlash before the show came out, and it was a majority of white people saying this is racist. But to who? Lebanese people? Let the Lebs complain.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
You
a lot of Anglos are coming out saying it's racist.
Well, one of the worst things, was in the media. We're doing publicity for the show, and the 30-second, teaser came out for the show, and that's when the shit hit the fan. Everyone said, "Oh, this show, it's racist." Why? Because Lebanese people got a jet ski in the pool. They don't do that. It's a comedy.
Exactly. It's lighthearted.
And then I swear I copped a question in the media about the font of the show, because the font Here Come the Habibs was like an Arabic font. This is racist. Why? Because the font is Arabic. What's racist about that? Well, it's taken the jobs of all the other fonts.
No, but it's
font,
true.
for God's sake. How could that be? People questioned even the font of the show.
There was a complaint.
Super. So we've been in lockdown, obviously, and when comedy restarts again, we got tours starting again in October, scheduled. If all things, infections keep going low. But
you guys are pretty lucky because there's only five or 10 people allowed in. That was your maximum crowd out here.
I could say I've done a sellout.
It's going to be sold out for months. I know. It's just going to be. Look, with the comedy, it's exactly the last thing to come back, because what they're talking about. Imagine a comedy room, 200-300 people in a low ceiling. Packed in tight, laughing, spitting, coughing. That's exactly what they're trying to stop. So that our industry was the first to be shut down and the last to come back.
Reopen,
and when that will be, who knows? Honestly, it's just, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing now with social media and Instagram, you can still get your comedy out there in different sort of ways, but I think it'll be a while before the shows
I don't believe it's the same. You got to be there and you got to obviously
Exactly.
experience it and you feel it from these guys. And like I said, I've been to a few of their shows and I've been to a few others. And like I said, I just wish we could all sit down with guys like this and not really worry about what race we are, where we come. Like I said, I grew up in St. Peter's in a little area where we were wogs and we were like, the Aboriginals would call us names, we'd fight, and all of a sudden after a few months, then we were the best of friends, and I am today. Like, so I'm totally an unracist person, but I just, like I said, I still don't really
You know what you are? You're street smart. And a lot of us have been, brought up in that life where, like everyone now has got a tiptoe. So it's not.
We did that show, Street Smart too.
Yeah, but it's
But like Jeff, like I know, like I mean, look, while you bring that up, like, and I know you're one of the ambassadors for Save Our Sons. You do a lot of work, and Rob and I are ambassadors as well, and we've seen you at a lot of the charity functions. But growing up, I remember I was a teacher when you were in your the prime of your career, boxing. But I think I never told you this, but I was a massive supporter. Like your fights. Like I used to tell the whole school, the whole class, right now, watch this, and then your record, I was loving the undefeated record. And when the Azuma Nelson thing happened, like I was so devastated.
Gutted.
I was gutted. Like you don't understand how gutted I was. Like, but what people don't understand is we've seen you. I think I saw you on a documentary somewhere speaking. Like what people realise, you're actually quite a deep thinker. People don't really receive that for you.
See, what people don't realise also, like I said, of course, and being undefeated was amazing. But when I lost, I think that turned the light on. I learned more from, not just from the draw, but when I was defeated, I learned more about who I was and about life. And that's why I'm sitting here today, because I'm that person. Had I been an undefeated person, I don't need to sit here and talk to people. I don't need to mingle. I don't need to help. You just get carried away with your own success. And to be honest, like I tell people, that 3-time world champion and the guy who had the draw with Azuma Nelson, I don't really even like him. He was a little bit. No, he wasn't a little bit. He was very arrogant. Thought he could have anything he wanted. And then you get defeated and you really learn who you are. And that's the person who I am today. Knowing that, man, I love to make sure that whatever I do, everybody else can do. If I'm out of a restaurant drinking some bit of a wine, I see somebody there drinking some, I'll go and take my wine. I'll share that with them. That's just who I am, brother.
That's what I'm talking about, Jeff. People like really. People who don't know you don't really know, they misjudge you. Because I can't tell the number of functions Rob and I ourselves have been at. We've seen you help out Save Our Sons, but the number of functions I've been at where we say, we've got, it could be any sort of charity fundraisers, and we got donated boxing gloves by Jeff Fennick, or got donated something like, there's so much, donation and give out there. So, look, congratulations. I know you.
Anyway, guys, just thank you.
Listen,
this podcast about you is not about me. Thank you.
I mean, I was a fan of your boxing, but I was a fan of when you played for Parramatta Eels.
Thanks, mate.
Go Parramatta.
Well, listen, so people don't realise, I tell everybody, Rob, I got all those belts you see them, they walked and when I did the podcast with Sterlo, I said, Sterlo, I'd give you every one of those belts. Give me that number 7 jumper that you played for Parramatta. Let me play first grade. Let me play State of Origin. Let me play for Australia. I'd give all my belts away tomorrow.
What was your number? It was, big, it was 42, a big number.
42,
That's right.
42 for Parramatta. Yeah,
the biggest shoulder pads.
Yeah.
We've got the unofficial mayor of Parramatta here today.
Yes, I had my entourage just sitting outside.
Yeah, security, Secret Service. Yeah.
I've seen those cars coming down the street, but they're all burning rubber and stuff. Yeah. Undercover, that's what they are.
It's all the Harley Davidsons.
Smoke machine.
I told him, run for it. He won't run for it. I said, run for it. But you know what? The skeletons in the closet.
Exactly.
All out.
When you're unofficial, you just can go through life undetected. As soon as you're an official politician, God help you.
Yeah.
He's the unofficial mayor of Parramatta and still on the payroll.
Not bad. A few envelopes. You mentioned before you're obviously a school teacher before you got into comedy. How do you go from an English drama teacher to comedy? It's a big transition.
Look, there's a lot of former teachers that are actually into theatre and drama. Like that's where
I'll tell you what, all the teachers that taught me off, they're fucking idiots.
or there's acting or whatever. But like there's but people are surprised too. They go, "Oh, you're a teacher." And they go, "Yeah." They go, "What did you study?" Yeah, no. What do you think? I got my degree through
the post.
it was like through the post or something. Yeah, I went to uni and everything.
Well, there are a lot of Lebanese that can do that. Hey?
Well, Turkish chef.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, but you got a Lebanese friend here, the mayor of Parramatta.
I got connections.
Ask Dennis Fitzgerald.
I will look. The degree is all good. Like, so I was into comedy, even primary school. I was always collecting jokes, writing jokes, loving comedy, and then even when I was teaching, I was constantly writing, and then when I found out when I was teaching that there was a thing called open mic where anybody can get up, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I thought, what? Anybody just get up. There's a Sydney Comedy Store in Leichhardt.
Yeah.
And I rocked up on a Tuesday night, and it took me 6 weeks to get up because I thought I'm going to get up here. I was that nervous. I thought, no, I can't do it. I had my mates with me. I said, I think I'll just watch tonight. I'll come back next week. I came back next week. I kept this up for 6 weeks, knowing that I wanted to get on.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the courage at that stage. But I was going to do it. 6 weeks it took me. Finally I did it. And
what was the reaction?
Reaction was good because I had 4 mates there, right?
And they all clapped.
As soon as I got on stage, they were laughing because when you see a mate up there, say, look at this clown. So they were laughing. But then I got a few laughs from the other people as well and thought, that was it. Once you get that adrenaline,
of course.
the feeling.
How long ago was that? It was about 20...
I was 20, over 2 decades ago. Like 20 years.
Yeah, it's 20 years in the game.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And then it just kicked on from there. And then, just eventually I left teaching because it was taking a lot
Tell
of
them how
time.
you used to practice on the students.
Yeah, it was like the Letterman show. The first 3 minutes was just comedy.
Yeah.
It's like the kids, like year 12s obviously, but they were good days.
Well, let me tell you, I've got a friend also that is a boxing trainer that helps me, but he's a part-time school teacher as well. And this is true. He tells me, so he must not have studied as hard as you, but he would go into school and said, Basil, when I talk to him, how can you be, a damn school teacher? He's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah.
He says, if I go into the class, I look for the smartest guy and I get them up and I make them write all the maths and stuff, and he doesn't do anything. That's great, son. He gets the students to teach a class, so he still gets paid for it. He's doing a good job.
That's a good tactic, Jeff. One of the things, like, if you didn't know anything, if they ask you a hard question, you go, that's your homework, look it up. Like, that's your teaching. But look, I'm pretty, like, English was always even though it was my second language, like, I migrated from Turkey, right?
Yeah.
But I was always pretty good, like with the spelling. Like I pride myself on that, the spelling and the language, the punctuation, all that sort of stuff. My first class, you get this. I go in like my first year of prac teaching. I was just out of uni, and then so I got the other teacher there, and the kid goes, "Sir, right? How do you spell?" And this the word is thrown at me, right? And you should know, we've heard about it, but it was one of those tricky words. Lieutenant.
Ooh.
Oh my God, lieutenant. I go, yeah. All right. You look it up and spell. You bring it back tomorrow. Tell me how to spell it. How do you spell lieutenant? It's a tough one. Like, we all know the word. But hang on, L-E-U. It was a hard one. Yeah. Anyway, they can look it up. The people at home.
Anyway, just to let you know that I grew up, and the craziest thing was that we used to hang around at a place we used to call it the Turk Shop. So it was in Emerald Road, just across the road from the Emerald Theatre.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of Turkish boys in Emerald back then. And so I grew up and we used to hang around in a little. Our hangout was called the Turk Shop.
The Turk Shop?
Yeah.
What do they sell?
Oh, no, we're just pinballs and...
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, and
cards, backgammon.
Octay, this guy, he was like one of the toughest kids around the area. His name was Octay. There was we had some great time. I think it's in this song, Dillo, Dillo, Yal.
It sounds Turkish.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And Rob, not a lot of people know that you were an athlete before you got into the whole acting and comedy and things like that. Tell us about that.
What do you mean? He tells everybody he's an athlete.
Yeah, but I tell people because they don't believe it. Yeah, and I like to make people aware that, I do have a sporting mind.
Yeah.
And so does he. He's got a very good sporting background. But
I love sports.
Yeah.
I was playing rugby union before acting and comedy. Like, he wanted to be a comedian from day one. It's not something I even thought of, and I accidentally fell into it. And there's a lesson there. Like, if an opportunity comes your way, give it a go because you don't know where it will take you. And I went to a school called St. Pat's, Strathfield, and my brother. I actually put soccer down in year 5. You had to put a sport. It's compulsory. You had to play a sport and winter sport. I put soccer. He changed it. He goes, "No, you're playing rugby," because all my cousins were playing soccer. So, I got to year 11. I made first 15, which was big. To make it in year 11 was a big thing because you usually make it in year 12. And then I got picked for Australian Schoolboys, which was a great honour, especially from a school like St. Pat's, where a lot of the Aussie players were picked from Joey's and Riverview and all the GPS schools.
Have you told him your trick?
Watch me.
He was 18. His birth certificate said he was 12.
I was a big boy. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny because like I was a very aggressive. I wasn't dirty. But I was a very aggressive player. Like I'd just go hard. And my coach at school was Lebanese, Joe Baraka, who went on to coach in Japan and helped a few clubs in Australia. And very, very good coach. And he used to push me harder. And, I used to hate him at the time because he'd make me do sprints. Usually you have a break, but he'd make me do it again and again. And when I made all these schoolboys, he said to me, now you know why, because you could see it in me. And one guy, you can even, like, Arn Doe, who's a well-known comedian, told me not long ago that he used to play rugby against me at school and they all used to shit themselves when they played St. Pat's because Rob Shehadie would just take your head off, and that was the thing. Rugby just lacks that. I feel it lacks that aggression like the league has. These guys
No,
at
definitely.
league.
I mean, when you grow up playing league, we look at rugby and we think that, but I mean, look, I just take my hat off to anybody that makes it in the top level at any sport.
Yeah.
I admire all sports.
Yeah, so it was, that was my career. I thought I was going to be a rugby player. I played Australia, New South Wales and Australia under 19s and under 21s. I was in the system playing first grade at West Harbour and had a stint at Manly. But, a lot of injuries, and as you know, injuries can stop your career. And then during that, at the age of around 20, I was accident.
He comes down for an audition for Fat Pizza. His brother was supposed to audition. He just came along with his brother.
Yeah.
Just a hanger on,
Yeah, just a hanger on. And Paul Fennick, he goes, you're good, Nick, but who's this big boy with you, like this massive? I think I can use him. And then he got in a scene, and then because my first scene in Pizza, I had this Greek guy who's supposed to be my partner. Right, and we were watching TV. And
because you had been filming the series for a couple of weeks.
And Paulie said, okay, you guys are watching TV, and he gave me a bong, like he goes, you're stoned, and he gave the kebab to the Greek guy. And I said, Paul, he goes, I said, look, I don't like this bong thing. I'm not into smoking. My mum might be watching. And I don't know why, because Paulie's he's very focused and he's very good at what he does. He liked me. He goes, okay. He switched it around. He goes, all right, don't worry, he goes, you had the kebab, and he gave the bong to the Greek guy, right? So he pretended it was like stone or all that sort of just on the couch, and I was just mucking around my funny one-liners, right? After that scene, never saw the Greek guy again.
They cut him out.
They saw the takes and they go, it's just not quite working with the bong and everything. So that could have easily, if
Could have been you, that's right.
Life's funny that way, isn't it?
Yep.
Like you take little decisions, little corners, everything you decide, and then next day, after he left, this guy appears out of a scene.
Yeah, so if we take a step back, I got this scene and I did it on my own. I did another scene and they all cracked up and it was a road rage scene and one guy came out with a knife, one guy comes out with a bat, and they said to me, you got to go to the boot and you pull out a bow and arrow. And Paulie said something. He said to me, just make a line up when you get the bow and arrow. Just make up a line. And I come out. I said, yeah. Do you know who I am? I'm the Lebanese Rambo. Rambo was big back then.
Yeah.
And they all cracked up. I remember the cameraman bouncing and shaking and laughing. Anyway, and then they all liked it. And I got this call to come to another scene and I've turned up and I'm with this guy in the yellow Valiant. And back then there weren't GoPros. So it was this, I'm shitting myself. I'm suddenly with this bloke, I have to drive this car at a certain speed, think of my lines, make sure I can see the camera. There's another car next to us. So I had to make sure the camera's in front. And we had to he just loved the way we bounced, and that was it.
But this is the crazy. I was going to say this because I never boxed in my life. I just went to the gym by accident.
Yeah, right.
I became what I am today. But
how did you get to the gym? Like, what do you mean? Like,
we walked to the youth club because we were going to have a fight with some people, and we're searching the youth club. Really? And the last room was a boxing room. And as I look in the boxing room, here's a friend of mine sitting down from school, and I sat down and watched him box, and I put my hand up the box. But what I'm saying, it's just that you're there at the right time, at the right place. That's found what because I honestly believe that in all of us, everybody's got a greatness, and sometimes you don't find it. And had I not been to the gym that day, I wouldn't have found it. Had you not been with your brother that day, you might not have found that. Had you not done what you done, you might not have found it. So I just think that I believe that we all have this amazing gift, and guys,
and here we are.
You're blessed to find it. Yeah, you know.
It's funny how life works.
We bonded in the car because in that first scene there was these two other girls. Like we're supposed to pick them up or whatever, but these were like proper actors, like from
paid
night this that. We're just a couple of
Shot goes off.
A couple of knockabout, you know. Yeah.
and they're doing all these things, but like in between takes, they wouldn't even look at us, talk at us. We look at and we go, look at these two.
You wonder why.
Back then, we were better.
They were stuck up.
But we bonded over it. Like look at these, they're stuck up.
Yeah.
But Paulie just loved the way we bounced, and we worked well with Paulie, and and you've worked with him, and also I feel sorry for that Greek guy in a way because he was like the fifth Beatle member. He probably looks back. He looks back at it.
He could have been in the seat right here.
He could have been. Yeah, I took his spot.
You cut his lunch.
So I don't even know who he is or where he is, but he probably thinks of that
Good
a
luck
lot.
to him. Hopefully he's going.
Is that how you guys met?
Yeah.
Doing that for pizza? Yeah.
And then we just click. Like, I know this guy back to front. He grabs the mic. I know exactly what he's going to say next. I know when to stop because I know when he's going to come in.
We've done so much touring together, honestly.
It was crazy. Just the other day, I was at a restaurant. I was talking, and I was with a Greek guy, and he's a very wealthy man. So I won't say who he was because
Was it the same guy that got cut from the show?
No. Well, he may have been because he was telling a story. He said, Jeff, that story they say about once you've had black, you don't go back and things like that. I said, yeah. He goes, listen, once you have Greek, you can't sit down for a week. So, all right, brother, I'm not going to try you. I'm not interested in that.
So you fell into comedy, obviously the open mic. You fell into Fat Pizza by going to that audition. Then how do you go from that to then creating a show like Here Come the Habibs and Street Smart? And where did you discover that creativity that obviously?
Well, he's been my mentor, and I say that out loud. I say it a lot, and I learn a lot from. I watch and I learn, and I learned from people like Paul Fennick and George Capignaris, who was an idol of mine, who played Mimo in Acropolis. I loved Mimo. I loved it. And that was actually when I auditioned for Pizza, I used his accent because Paulie said to me, I'll do something woggy. Like, give me something woggy. So I used Mimo's accent.
Yeah.
And then we got to work together. Now we're good friends. And
well, we did a stage show called Habib on Parole, and then Lord of the Kebabs, the Fellowship of the Hummus, right? And I just threw these guys in. He goes, yeah, you should just get up.
I'd never been on stage.
So we go to Enmouth, get a full house.
Yeah.
1,600 people, right? Curtain goes up. I'm watching these guys. I'm watching Rob and I'm watching our other mate, like George, he's on the stage as well. And then they do the first line and the massive laughter comes.
It's like a punch.
And I remember clearly seeing their faces. Like, this guy here, it just hits you, the laughter. And he goes, and he just looked over to me. I go,
Yalla.
keep going.
So he always says to me, I'm lucky because I just come through doing big crowds. I was blessed. He's doing like little open mics with 3 people watching him. And, I got
But
thrown
I also believe in giving it a go. Just give things a go. Like, what do you do? Like, give it a go. Get up and just, it's a 4 hours. You can do whatever you want to. That people think there's always a process you have to follow.
A path, yeah.
That's not true. Like, there's you can make
So
your own journey.
he pushed me, to get into the live stuff. Here I am, a rugby player. I'm still playing rugby at the time. I'm all the way up to about the age of 28. And so I'm, I remember turning up to training on a Tuesday night after South Park used to go to, it was very popular and Pizza was straight after it, first episodes and that. And all these guys at footy like, were you on TV last? I didn't tell anyone because I thought, they might look down at me because I'm a rugby player. But they loved it. And but he pushed me a lot. We did a lot of appearances for Fat Pizza, a lot of nightclub appearances. So you got on the mic a bit, mucked around, but then I kind of got more into
We did a lot of live shows. Obviously with Pizza, there was like Pizza, Swift and Shift Couriers, Housos. And then we're always doing our live shows, our own shows. And then from our live shows, that's where the Here Come the Habibs idea came, And on tour, like, how it is, like you travel around, you have so many laughs. We've had so many scenarios and things that happen. Like, do you remember the time, like this will shock you, right? We're in Parks of all places for the Elvis Festival somewhere, right?
I don't even remember it.
And we're there in Parks and these, we did some sort of comedy show. These 2 girls, right?
We're walking the street.
Like, we go for a feed afterwards, we get some, I don't know, kebab or whatever, chips.
Yeah.
They stop us, right?
They were young. They were probably
like teenagers.
15, 16.
Yeah. And they were Australian as, probably born in Parks, probably never left Parks. And they go, excuse me.
So politely.
Excuse me. They go, yes. Are you 2 wogs? I swear to God. We just looked at
Like really nicely.
Who are these strange-looking people?
they go, yes, we're the wogs that you see on TV. Like,
And remember they walked, wow, okay, thanks. thanks.
It was like they spot a unicorn.
Yeah.
So they must they watch TV shows, they hear about
The
wogs,
season flash.
the city life, and then there's 2 wogs in parks. Wow.
I've got to just say, because we're going to go back, just a thing that you did say some stuff about Save Our Sons, and you guys have been great supporters of an amazing charity. When you talk about Save Our Sons, Paul, and you think of all these other charities in the world, they get funding and stuff, and to know how hard our friend Ellie has to work for his own son and other people to save other people's lives.
Yeah.
Until you really know what Save Our Sons represents and stands for, you know what these families go through. It's the saddest thing ever. Imagine, thinking that you've got a child that anywhere between 12 to 20 may no longer be with you, or after 6 or 7 they can't use their body strength anymore. They've got to be wheelchaired. And these guys have done so much for Save Our Sons, and I know I'm there, but I just want to say, I love you guys for all the beautiful nights that you've made so successful for Save Our Sons. I just got to say that because Ellie and the people from Save Our Sons, I love you very much.
And
It's
one
hard
of the
not
main
to help, honestly, because the charity comes from the heart, and it's personal. It's helping. Okay, Ellie is trying to help his son, but as you said, Jeff, he's helping all the other families as well.
100%.
And you're right. It comes from the fact that he's battling this. I remember he brought me to the first function. It was over 10 years ago, and I'm sitting next to Mark Geyer, and they put this clip on, and next thing I'm in tears. Mark Geyer's crying.
Yeah.
And still, I've watched these clips, and you'll know.
I've watched it every year.
And I will
cry.
still get emotional watching
Yeah.
it. It's not easy, mate. And to imagine being a parent. There's one parent in part of the Save Our Sons family that has 3 kids with the disease.
Well, it's like it's over $1 million to one to get, and then she has 3 children. They all have it.
It doesn't kick in straight away. It kicks in years later.
That's when sometimes I think, is there a God? Is there really somebody? What you've been I don't know.
I believe that, there is because God gave us Ellie, who's now helping other families.
I understand that, but
I know what you're saying. Some people are out there who are doing bad things and having healthy kids and living a good life, and you wonder why do the good. But it makes you. There's a reason behind it.
Of course, there's a reason behind everything. I mean,
it's brought us all together.
There's a reason. Last year I was just about dead, as you guys know. I was just about dead, and I think that just as I was about to die, the devil came and said to me, he said, "Listen, I don't want you coming down here taking over." So he said, "You stay up." He didn't want me to go. So I don't know.
We were all following that story closely, and you had people fly over, didn't you? Like you had some support. Like
I had massive support.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's not about the support. Just like I said, you just never know. And like I said, when I think of Save Our Sons and think of those children and think of how tough the parents are. I don't know if I could. Of course, I love to help. But I don't know how I would handle it myself if I was a parent. So that's the thing. I just can't understand. Of course, you can go out there, but I just don't know how they. I don't know how Ellie does. And look, all the people who've supported him all those years, Bass and all those guys. I just take my hat off to them. I love them so much because they're trying to they're trying to help the world. They're trying to help everybody. They're trying to help his own child, which is pretty amazing.
He gets strength there. He's admitted that. He gets strength from those functions. That's where you have that's where you lean on that. People care.
I'm sure
the fact that people care gives you strength.
100%.
Well, if anyone's watching, look them up, Save Our Sons. Very, very genuine charity.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think's made you guys so successful? Obviously, you had some opportunities. You took full advantage of those opportunities, but success doesn't come easy, and you've been successful for a long time now. What do you put that down to?
I think, I'm speaking about Tahir and I think we just mirror each other in a way, but we're just down-to-earth people. And I think we it's very, we look after people. We don't walk over people. In our industry, there's a lot of that happening. Yeah. You don't last 20 years in the entertainment industry if you're, a lot of these people think they're Hollywood.
So who comes up with the new stuff every time? Who is it teamwork or?
Well, Tahir's, it's funny how we work. We've got our strengths and weaknesses.
I do not stop. We do tours this year. We're working on ideas for next year already. We never stop. People we never stop and rest and rest on our laurels. We never do that. People don't understand that. People think, they're just another show.
It's easy.
We're doing this tour. At the moment, we're working on another, ABC comedy.
Maybe you can be in this one.
We'd love to have you.
You'd like this one, actually.
You showed me something earlier, mate. Why don't you show off a bit today.
Magic trick.
Yeah, come on, mate. Come on.
We should try to get in this new show if it happens.
Give me a little look at this, mate.
Look at this. We might have to get close to the camera.
You know, let me.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll zoom in.
Now I want you to study the key. Have a look.
The key.
To study the.
Now, this is the key, guys.
Yeah.
Now, Rob, you got to commentate here for those that are listening on the podcast.
It's a key to a
It looks like a Datsun.
beautiful Ferrari.
So that's in
Tahir's come out with a $50 note, genuine $50
Give me
note,
the $50.
Have a look.
and a key.
A totally counterfeit $50.
It's fresh off the photocopier, Rob's photocopier.
So
Yeah, right here. We're going to put it right there.
So he's putting it on his hand and he's going to pierce it with the key. Is that right?
Yeah. You getting this?
He's going to put a hole through this.
There's cameras everywhere. Surely one of them will pick it up.
Just move the bottle behind you.
I'm hoping they pick up what you're doing.
Wow. He's just pierced it. The key's gone. The key has gone straight through the $50 note. Yes. And he's he's pulled it back out and he has not ripped it.
I think Jeff's seen something.
I saw some. We can't expose
Well,
these.
I
we
can't
can't
explain it.
expose it,
Listen,
yeah.
there is definitely no hole left in that $50, and I'd like to thank you for it. It's not
That
damaged.
trick cost me $50. Anyway, Jeff will be doing that later on. I'll be giving that trick to him.
So Tah's thinking about getting to a bit of magic, doing a bit of magic in his shows. It's quite funny.
It's too close.
Magic
Too close.
comedy,
The lights
hand in glove.
too much. Too much. The lights here.
Yeah. But we going back to your point, we have our strengths and weaknesses together. That's why we work well and we help each other out. You know, like the Habibs, the way it started was quite funny. I did a short film for a guy named Ben Davies who created Bondi Rescue, and his background was documentaries. And you know, I never do short films. There's another opportunity. I get asked to do short films. I go, what for? Like, it's not a paid
It's too
gig.
short.
You leave the short films. Paulie Fennick.
You're really tall.
You do like short films.
Like a lot of people do short films to get a break in the industry. And then, like, anyway, this guy, I looked at him up and I thought, okay, this guy's got a bit of a reputation. And, you know, he had the cameraman from the Red Dog movie and he had very famous, can't remember her name, Carmen Duncan, who was in an old Paula Duncan's sister, who was famous in America in a show there. Anyway, so I thought, well, there's some good people. I'll do this show. So I kept saying to him, listen, you know, you're in documentaries. And I've always dreamt, I want to do a documentary on Lebanon. That's been my dream, you know, because a lot of people have this perception of Lebanon, but it's an amazing
Beautiful place.
a party venue. It's a resort. It's an eye-opener.
No tax.
And Tahir's been there. He went there for 2 weeks. He loved it, and he still talks about it. So
We did a comedy festival. It was amazing.
Oh, really?
it's an eye-opener. And anyway, I kept pushing this guy. So we pitched, you know, a comedy show where me and we actually put Faraz Daraini down because he was in House Husbands on Channel 9 and do this travel show to Lebanon. Channel 9 came back and said, oh, they ummed and ahed. I said, no, it's not. We're not ready for this just yet. And then I said to him, I think I might have another idea for you. Let's have another meeting. I brought Tahir along and Tahir had this concept.
It was like 2 pages I've typed up years ago off the back of one of our stations, maybe for a potential TV show. We just sat on it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then finally we brought it out. What do you think of this? We like it.
Loved it.
It was an easy idea for the executives. You would have dealt with a lot of executives, Jeff. Like people, they're in a different world. It has to be an easy concept for them to understand. But to go back to your question, we never stop. I never stop. Like right now we're working on stage shows, different concepts, TV shows. While during lockdown I wrote 4 children's books because that's my mind space at the moment with 2 kids at the moment, you know what I mean? So we never stop. People think it's just that we're always planning.
Well, people don't know that. People don't know how hard you work.
Working hard behind the scenes. The constant meetings, like how many meetings?
A lot of
constant
meetings.
Writing sessions.
A lot of things don't come through, but you just got to keep knocking on doors. And then the Habibs was such an easy concept. You know, Lebanese family wins lotto, moves to eastern suburbs. Now, you just laugh. And we didn't have to do much to win them over. And I remember we were going to another network and Ginjal found out about it and loved the idea and said, I want this on 9.
And we change all the time. Like we want to do a drama. I'm working on a children's movie which I love. Like that's, I love that sort of, genre at the moment. But we always change, like we always adapt. But people still sort of pigeonhole. We get pigeonholed. There's no doubt about it. They go, look at these two guys, like blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but I've got a feeling we might host our own morning show soon, just with the way everyone's talking about multiculturalism, and we need to see.
Well, like I said, I honestly think it would be great because, like I said, people need to be more relaxed. And like I said, listen, the reason why I loved Kyle Sanders when I first heard him on radio was that he was real. Somebody asked him a question and he thought he got in trouble sometimes, but he would just answer it the way he thought it should be answered, the way us as people wanted to hear it.
Not robots.
Yeah. So, he wasn't worried.
You know when you say real, I always, he's heard me say it, I always say the words real Australia. And that's what our shows target, real Australia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is everyday Aussie, the Bogans, the Lebs, the Wogs, the Italians, the Asians,
But also, Rob, we don't take anything seriously.
Yeah.
We don't take success if it comes our way seriously. Like we don't let it go to our heads because we know, okay, sometimes we understand the game. We know this person's talking to us because of this show. We you can see through people.
Yeah.
So we don't, it never gets to our heads, and that's what we talk to everybody and anybody. And when the moment you get fans coming up, the moment you reject a photo or something,
100%.
Okay, for that person, it's special at that moment. They don't know that you've done hundreds or thousands, whatever. They don't understand that
because they always like we filmed at Summer Nats, and mate, seriously, every 2 seconds someone wants a photo. Just a quick photo, and it's not a problem. We'll do it. But every quick photo, it's like
the only time it gets to me is if you're in a club and someone's drunk and they come up and they hang around for ages and then I just leave.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just too much. They don't understand.
Two drunks hanging around together too long. Not a good scenario, brother. Not a good scenario.
So, but like
I don't drink, Jeff. You know that.
What I don't understand is like Here Come the Habibs was massive. 1.2 million people on the first night. That's like Married at First Sight, Ninja Warriors type ratings.
I mean, that's small. Listen, I mean, when you think of how many ethnics and how many Habibs and how many vlogs, it's crazy.
It's not more of it. Yeah, the ratings aren't a true reading because of the way they do it.
Because there would have been like 20 Lebs in one house, 25 more trees in the other, on one lounge. So there would have been 20 million watched it, really.
But to people at home who don't know this, they do it. How many? About 5,000 boxes they do an equation on. So it's not what you watch doesn't affect it. It's what there's 5,000 households are watching and they do an equation. So it's not a true indication. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is...
Unless you have one of those rating boxes, your viewing doesn't count.
Yeah. And a lot of these other dramas or drama comedies, they're pulling in 500,000, 400,000 and this show smashed it.
It's big.
So I don't understand why... other networks don't see that formula and go, hold on.
I'll tell you why. Because again,
are they uncomfortable? They're not used to it?
They're worried. They're worried that little, because of the world we live in, will they say something wrong? Will they offend somebody? Will they 100%. Say something about gay people? Or will they say, listen, people don't realise that when for you guys to get it and say it makes those people even more comfortable because they're having a joke, they're having a laugh. 100%. And I'm sure whether you're gay, whether you're black, whether you're white, we all laugh together with that. That's why it's so great. And that's why we need this stuff. We need more of it.
That's what made, I guess, the network very comfortable, that there was two ethnics doing a show. And
you're taking the piss out of yourselves.
Well, it's a license to get away with it.
Yeah, a lot of my stand-ups, you make fun of yourself in your background. These are my stories. My parents,
and there was nothing offensive in the Habibs. And I say this to people. I made it very clear. I don't, the one kid was a uni student. The other one was a business entrepreneur. None of them were criminals. We didn't make them look bad. It was a comedy. That was all it was, a family
comedy.
Yeah. And that's all it is. And you're right. We just need to just have a laugh.
Yeah, not take ourselves too seriously.
I mean, like I said, look what's happened in the world today.
Hey, Jeff, they still talk about fat pizza from that long ago.
Of course they do.
They still talk about it.
Yeah, people always bring up my little...
I remember your little cameo.
With Nader Hamden and the boys, the same brothers. Yeah, it was amazing.
He was in the Fat Pizza movie as well as that was a great moment.
But Fat Pizza, I mean, that was an iconic show, of that time.
Do you remember the scene?
I do, yeah.
So Paul Phoenix making fun of Jeff Phoenix. Yeah. And he comes out he rolls out of the limousine.
That's like...
What did you say, mate?
It's a classic.
The classic movie. Like it's the movie you can watch any time because it's a series of jokes and it's almost timeless because it is, and you can watch it at any time, you know.
And you know, it shows like we were like I'll be honest, we were like rock stars in the Fat Pizza days. You know, I remember doing a big appearance somewhere. I can't remember. It was like a school or something. There was thousands of people at I don't know if it was a fete, but you know, it was advertised Fat Pizza and Home and Away are turning up.
What you got to remember, like at those schools you were going, there were like 99% of them were wogs. Don't worry.
But do you remember, Tahir? I remember Fat Pizza turning up and we're doing all this signing for about over an hour, signing, and then Home and Away were meant to come 2 hours later.
Spell lieutenant.
Sorry?
Spell lieutenant.
Lieuttant, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Anyway.
wrong. Look it up.
Anyway, and Home and Away got cancelled. They said no need to come. Everyone's left. After
Wow.
we left, it was like
You had Rebel Wilson and you had a
Rebel's
big
great.
lineup, you know.
we had a lot of cameos, and Jeff was one. So
So proud of Rebel, like, you know, she's a superstar. Honestly,
Definitely
absolute
so.
superstar. Well,
Definitely
like,
so. Who laughs at herself and who just enjoys
Exactly.
life, you know?
And yeah, when we, you know, in pizza, she did cop it, and she was, you know, she took it. You know, they was making fun of her weight and that in the show, and that was just part of her character. And she made fun of herself. And
you know, she had a contract with Jenny Craig, like to lose weight.
she
This
first went to
was when
Hollywood.
she was in Hollywood.
She was the only person that put on weight so they couldn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that.
She
But
first went
it
to
was like
Hollywood.
$250,000. It was a
Wow.
fair size contract, and then the Hollywood executive said, "Hey, what are you doing?
No,
Stop.
I do remember something
Stop."
about this, yeah.
You go, what do you mean? No, you're not. You want to be the skinny blonde girl. We got thousands of them.
Yeah.
You want to be like someone unique and different. There's a space for you.
Yeah.
She had to let go of the contract.
Wow.
That was
Give it
in
up.
her very
But now
early years.
she's back into fitness because now she controls her own destiny. She's got her own production company. She calls her own shots.
Yeah, of course.
So now you can do whatever she wants. You know.
Yeah, that's wow. What have you guys got coming up? Anything exciting? Any projects you want to talk about?
Well, we got, you know, we're working on things, but from a gig point of view, we can't do anything. Everything's still closed. And I keep getting my gigs and, you know, functions at AMC and corporates and all that, they're getting postponed, and a lot of them till next year. And
From October, I'll be touring Crazy Rich Ethnics.
if it
around the
opens
clubs,
up.
if the infections
If you
stay,
can,
if it all opens up, but I'll be on tour. So, and then I'll do all the festivals. But and as I said, we're always working behind the scenes. We're always working on projects, and hopefully we get this ABC comedy going. And
Well, to be successful in anything, it's all preparations and it's working.
It's all prep.
People don't realise how hard you guys work as well. People just don't really realise.
people are like, I love stand-up comedy. That's my passion. Whatever I do, as long as I can do stand-up comedy, and I'm loving it even more and more. The more I do it, like I'm not getting tired of it. But having said that, you would understand with stand-up comedy comes some shocking gigs. People don't understand what I've gone through. Like if you, at a Enmore Theatre's full, that's easy. People go, I don't even get one bit, like 1,600, that's perfect. Everyone's there for comedy. But sometimes some of the gigs we do.
Tell
like,
them about you did one over online the other day, didn't you?
I did a Zoom comedy the other day. Like
Oh,
a Zoom
really?
comedy.
For an
56
office.
people came on board. Okay, this is weird. Like, and I can only see 5 faces at a time.
Yeah.
And I said, do the jazz hands if you're laughing, because I can't hear them. I had my own sound effects. I do a joke and put some laughing on. Like, but I've done some, like, I've been booked in. most bizarre
I'll give
spots.
two shockers I had. Well, they weren't shockers. I actually did all right. I did good, but
Yeah.
just the environment was thanks to him. He rings. First time he's ever pulled out of a gig because he was on a tour and it wasn't his tour, but some promoter put it on and it wasn't selling as well just because it
I was
wasn't
physically sick.
It wasn't promoted properly. And he said to me, "Bro, please." Can you go up to past the Central Coast? I was doing a gig near actually Greenacre around there, and so I had to jet off to Central Coast. I said, "Is this one selling better?" Because I knew they canned a couple of others, and he goes, "Yeah, this one's sold pretty good." So, "Oh, good, okay." Because I'm used to crowds, not. So I've turned up, walked into this big auditorium. I see about 12 people sitting, and I speak to this other guy. I go, "Oh, where is it? Is it a Breakers?" "Yeah." I go, "Oh, so they're all outside." He goes, no, that's it. and I was advertised as the headline act.
Yeah.
So 12 people in a big auditorium.
You weren't even advertised.
Yeah, okay, but he kept promoting Rob Show's headline coming up. And so anyway, I could walk out. My 30-minute set finished after 16 minutes because the laughter's not big. Usually with laughter, it spreads out. Yeah. You can muck around with the crowd. Mate, I was sweating underneath.
People don't understand that comedy needs like a lot of different things. Last year I did a shocking gig on the Gold Coast. It was Women in League, right? Nothing to do with it. Like, so it was all females. I turn up to this gig, the Gold Coast fly up. It's lunchtime. So it starts at 12. And then I'm watching everything. Like, you know, they're all having a good time, the females. And I said, look, it's best probably just when the speeches are on, maybe after lunch has come. There's always a good time to put comedy on. No, they didn't put me on. Lunch happened. They didn't put me on. Then they did the raffles. 26 prizes, raffles.
That's
and all
the end of
the
the
girls
boring.
are talking, laughing. What'd you win? What'd you win? This, that. And I know now, experience tells me this is going to be a disaster. I know.
When the raffle happens, it's over. Mentally, it's over.
And they go, right, now we're going to have another break. And I'm standing right next to the DJ. I go, this can be, and you got to get up. As a comedian, you have to get up. Then she went to dessert. Like I go, now dessert's going to be served. It's finished. Like they did the raffle, they did all the speeches.
The day's over.
And she's going, now dessert's going to be served. And after dessert, we have a special guest surprise for you. Oh, it is a nightmare. People like the ladies are already leaving.
Yeah, of course.
They've
Yeah.
got their prizes. They've got their prizes. So I go, it's going to be a nightmare. So, and they're talking now. She comes on after dessert. The function's finished. It's a nightmare. And I'm there. I've got to get up. You know, I've flown in from Sydney. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, we got a special guest. No one's even listening. With the MC. We have a special guest, Tahir. Nobody even knows who I am. Middle-aged ladies.
They didn't even want to know.
They didn't even want to know.
Yeah.
I get up. Of course, they're talking. They're mucking around. They're talking to a couple of tables, listening at the front of some of the sponsors and that. I start and there's talking, yapping, and I spend the first 10 minutes trying to get them, right? Just trying to shush them down. And some of the ladies go, quiet, there's a comedian. And the people at the back and some tables are empty. And it all, I go, this is a nightmare. So 10 minutes I spent trying to I finally get them and we get a few laughs happening. And it's go, okay, we got them now. We've got a few laughs happening. They're listening and we're working good. And all of a sudden, right, half the room just got up and just left.
What do you mean?
Just got up like that. I go, hey, what's going on? School pickup.
Pickup, yeah, 3 hours, yeah.
It was like 3 o'clock, 3:10 school pickup. Wow. They all left. I go, that was it. That was the thing.
No.
They're just sort of like, there's so many of those sort of, for every successful gig you see, there's a lot
people
of,
think, so what, you got paid, but you don't want to get paid. You want to enjoy yourself.
You want to do
people,
it.
you want
Exactly,
people to say, wow, we had a great time. We just this great comedian.
You want to give them value.
It's like a fight. Every fight, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You know, and he sent me up to a gig at Parks. He goes, it's a Remembrance Day gig. You go, I can't do it. I've been double booked or something. So I go. I don't know what to expect. You know, I'll walk into this Parks, I think it was Lee's Club or RSL, and I walk in and I look. 80% of the room over the age of 75 or 80.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm seeing,
alarm
blue
bells.
rinse hair, hearing aids. I'm like, what the? I'm losing it now. I ring him up. Fuck, what are you doing? Because, my comedy is very, very multicultural, very young, like.
My motto is always give it a go. No matter what. Give it a go, give it a crack.
I've never done comedy for over 80s.
Yeah, 100%.
He goes, bro, just charm them. That's the way you do it.
You got to charm the older audience.
So there's all this table. There's another table of primary school students. And there's another table with the mayor of Parks and a priest. I think all the elements are against me right now. But I did it. What I did actually, it felt like a wedding because there was a big cake there. Yeah. So I actually got the oldest couple. They're about 90-something, old man and lady, and I organised like a big wedding entrance for them. I had music playing. Anyway, I won them over.
You got to navigate a path. Have you ever been? I've been booked in like RSL Club as a Turkish comedian, right? Plenty of times. But like this one was like Anzac Day, big memorial, because I often do it at Riverston. They do comedy. On Anzac, it worked somehow. Yeah. But another time, it was an evening. And it never went. So it was RSL. They did the big Anzac Day ceremony. Like there's a thing. The MC goes, and now we're gonna get. What is this? Right? A Turkish comedian.
What an
it
intro!
Must be some kind of joke. What and that's how I got. That's how I got introduced. Just got to work hard.
Really disaster. They start off laughing at the start.
He didn't know he was cracking a joke.
No, he was laughing anyway.
Yeah, that was a highlight.
Anyway, it is a science, and if the mic's bad, if people are eating at the time, it's just there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, timing's everything.
Yeah.
And not only that, Jeff. It's just people come to a comedy club or a theatre and they go and they see the crowd laughing, having a great time. The atmosphere's electric, and they want that feeling at their function. They go, okay, you come to our 40th birthday party in a backyard. Yeah, and it's hard to recreate. There's noise, there's barbecue, there's people walking around.
Because at a show they're paying for a ticket to laugh. They're there to laugh.
Comedy requires focus. You need focus.
That's a good point.
That's the number one thing.
Anyway,
Well, Rob and
I'll
Tahir,
have, I'll have to see you on stage.
oh, mate, I've been on stage many times, mate. But listen, we always try to keep this down around 45 minutes. I just want to just say, on behalf of Paul and I, we want to thank you so much, and hopefully continued success, because I know that you will have that, because you're great. And for all you guys do for charity and anything else, I want to say you're the best, and honoured to have you here as part of our
thanks, guys.
standing
Really
Thank you,
enjoyed
Fitzy.
it.
honoured to have you guys here. It's going to be, hopefully it's going to be huge here, because I've enjoyed it totally. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We only scratched the surface, so we're happy to come back another time.
Yeah, absolutely.
that-
We'll have you back for sure.
That is a great thing that we can do a second thing. But like I said, I'm one of these guys that listen. 45 minutes is a great time, and I'm watching the time. So I just want to just say thank you guys very much. I would love to have you back.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget to subscribe. Standing 8, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.